that's why we need this national law. A national law will save lives. And my thanks to Senator Murphy for championing the Bipartisan Safer Community Act. We know from the numbers that he just gave you. The numbers tell you these measures work. Keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people, dangerous to themselves because they want to commit suicide, or dangerous to others, and you save lives. But what is so searing and profound for me are the faces and voices of the victims. In their name, we need to honor their loss with action. Honor with action. We can save lives if we take the lessons from the laws that have been passed. And in Connecticut, where we have a stronger assault weapon ban, we have Ethan's law requiring safe storage. We have a better background check bill. We have a red flag statute. The combination of these measures has reduced gun violence dramatically. These laws work. They save lives. We ignore that lesson at our peril, but more importantly, at the peril of children and moms and dads and others who are the real victims. And the trauma of assault weapon injuries and deaths is not just the individuals who are injured or killed. It is also the trauma of seeing it, of hearing about it, of experiencing it when kids learn or watch it. And that trauma seeps into the consciousness of America and affects all of us. So I'm grateful to stand here with Senator Schiff. Thank you for continuing to champion this measure in the great tradition of Dianne Feinstein and Chuck Schumer, who has been an advocate of it, staunch and steadfast. And my hope is, let me just say finally, that this measure will, in fact, be bipartisan. I know it sounds naive or futile, but I still believe, as I did back in the 1990s, that gun violence prevention is not red or blue, it is American. And America is uniquely dangerous from gun violence. Among the industrialized countries, we have higher rates of gun violence and deaths than any other major developed country, and we need to make it bipartisan. I feel that we will, and I have the honor now of introducing Senator Schiff's partner in this effort, Senator Alex Padilla, who has been an advocate from his first days in the United States Senate. Thank you, Alex, for being here.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. I want to also thank my colleagues that are working so hard and diligently to reintroduce this assault weapons ban, and we're going to keep fighting until we get it passed and signed back into law. Senator Schiff, my partner in California, Senators Murphy and Blumenthal, Representative McBath, thank you for your passion, for your commitment, and a big thank you to all the gun safety advocates and survivors that are here, bringing your stories to the halls of Congress, trying to appeal to the hearts and the minds of our Republican colleagues. Senator Blumenthal, I'll tell you, I've been committed since day one in the Senate. It's because of my background in the state of California, which, like Connecticut, has an assault weapons ban. Was the first in the nation decades ago, as you heard from Senator Schiff. And the numbers don't lie. The assault weapon ban works. Fatalities are down because of it. Lives have been saved. The number of incidents have been reduced. But as you pointed out, state laws stop at the state line. And as long as it's easy for someone in California to leave the state and bring back an assault weapon, or somebody from a neighboring state to come to California with an assault weapon, we're still at risk. And so we need a national ban, as we had once upon a time under the leadership of our predecessor, Senator Feinstein. We're at a point where each year a new town in America is added to a heartbreaking list. A list that includes Columbine, Newtown, Parkland, Uvalde, Monterey Park, and many, many more. Now, I stand here not just as a senator, but as a proud father of 3 school-aged children. It was troubling enough the first time one of my kids came home and I asked them, so how was school today? In California, we're not unfamiliar with fire drills and earthquake drills. But when a child comes home explaining to parents what an active shooter drill is at school, it should make us all mad that that's what we are living in the United States of America in the year 2025. It doesn't have to be this way. Let alone the thought that there's been shootings in schools elsewhere in America, and it can happen in your own community. If it can happen anywhere in America, it can happen anywhere in America. And when it happens, our Republican colleagues may offer their thoughts and prayers, but sadly, that's it. They'll offer thoughts and prayers and then sit back and do nothing. If they do anything, it's they actively block our efforts, like advancing an assault weapons ban and other common sense gun safety legislation. The country deserves better. And for those who hear the false argument that, oh, what about the Second Amendment? This is not about the Second Amendment. This is about saving lives. And it's not that complicated. As you've heard, the questions are actually very basic. Should military assault weapons be on the streets of our communities? No. Should weapons of war be found in our grocery stores, at concerts, in houses of worship? No. Are our Republican colleagues more loyal to the gun lobby or to the constituents that elected them to make their communities safer? So yes, today we are proudly and adamantly putting the assault weapons ban back on the table because we know these bans can save lives. We know they reduce the number of mass shootings. And we know that if we fail to act, more Americans, more children will die. So we're calling on our Republican colleagues, please have the backbone, have the courage to stand up and protect your constituents, protect our communities, have the courage to put people over profits. And to all the advocates that are here, and especially those who are watching at home, please don't lose hope. Nearly 3 years ago, under Senator Murphy's leadership, we did pass the first gun safety legislation in 3 decades in America. And we know full well we did not do it alone. We did it because of your voices and your advocacy and your activism. You made a difference then, you're going to make a difference again. So as long as we're willing to fight for our children, we can't lose hope. There is hope. Call your members of Congress. Organize. Speak out. We can and we must win this fight. Thank you very much.
So I wish that Matt Holden's story didn't exist. Matt Holden was in a nearby classroom in Sandy Hook Elementary the morning of that shooting, a story that he can tell. But he remembers being told to be quiet, huddled in a corner by the janitor as the gunman was just steps away. He has chosen to take that trauma and demand change. So we're really glad here today to be joined by a number of courageous advocates, including young men and women like Matt, who have been survivors of these mass shootings. Matt is currently a student at George Washington University. He has been a very active member of the Newtown Action Alliance, and I'd like you to give him a big, warm welcome.
Thank you. I want to thank Senator Murphy for the introduction, and I want to thank everyone who came out today to show support for this cause. It really does mean so much to us as survivors. Well, like the Senator said, my name is Matt Holden. I'm a student at George Washington University, an advisory board member of the Newtown Action Alliance, and I'm also a survivor of the Sandy Hook school shooting. 12 years ago, when I was just 6 years old, I hid in my first grade classroom as a gunman armed with an AR-15 and high-capacity magazines, hunted and murdered 20 of my friends and classmates and 6 of our teachers in less than 5 minutes. I've spent every day since trying to live in a world that still allows those weapons of war to be sold legally to civilians. A world where kids like me are expected to survive, to grow up, and to somehow carry this trauma like it's normal. It is not normal. What happened in my school should have been the moment this nation changed, but it wasn't. So survivors like me had to become the change. Alongside the families from Newtown, Parkland, Uvalde, and other communities impacted by AR-15 shootings, I have walked the halls of Congress. We've shared our pain. We have begged lawmakers to put lives before politics. And in 2022, we helped pass the assault weapons ban through the House of Representatives. We did that. Survivors did that. Not because we wanted to, but because we had no choice. Today, I want to thank Senator Schiff, Blumenthal, Murphy, Padilla, and Representative McBath for reintroducing the assault weapons ban of 2025. This bill is the product of years of tireless organizing by people who lost everything and chose to turn their grief into action. It honors the legacy of Senator Dianne Feinstein, and it represents the strongest, most comprehensive legislation we have to get weapons of war off our streets. AR-15s do not belong in our homes or our schools. High-capacity magazines do not belong in our communities. These are not tools of self-defense. These are tools of mass murder. We know it. The gun industry knows it. Congress knows it. I'm 18 now. I go to class. I study for finals. I try to build a future for myself and my future family. But every time I hear about another school shooting, I'm back in that classroom in Sandy Hook. I'm back to being just 6 years old, hiding, listening, waiting to die. That memory doesn't fade. It just hardens into resolve. We don't need thoughts and prayers. We need courage. We need action. And we need every single member of Congress right now to decide if they're going to stand with us, the survivors, or stand with the industry that arms the next shooter. Pass this bill now so that no other child has to grow up with a lifetime of trauma. Thank you.
Gun survivor.